Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
Hi, I'm Andrew Wallace, and welcome to the We've Got a Problem podcast, where each week we explore inspiring stories of struggle, success, and whether our guests have been able to persevere and succeed against incalculable odds. Today, I'm here with Murphy Cross, who is a Tony Award-winning director, a choreographer, dancer, actress, mother, and many other things that I'm sure we'll get into.
I do great laundry.
You do great laundry. Well, that's important too. Now, how did you go from being a dancer? You went to what, North Carolina School of the Arts?
Yes, I did. I graduated. I went to New York. I got in a show at the Plaza 9 Music Hall after first being a waitress there.
Okay.
But I would sling the drinks and watch the show. I learned the show. And so when it was time, a girl dropped out and I auditioned and I knew the show. But the important thing was that I fit into her costumes. So
that's the secret.
I got my equity card. And from then on, I started doing shows in New York. And I was a dancer. And I was in Bubbling Brown Sugar. I was in Pal Joey with Mary Lou Henner and made lots of friends. And then did Chorus Line, which was an amazing part of my life. And then I came to California. I got offered a holding deal with CBS.
For those people out there who don't know what a holding deal is, what does that mean?
Well, I was supposed to do one pilot and a TV movie.
Okay.
Or 2 TV movies. And the TV movie ended up being with Lee Remick, who was an outstanding actress and mentor, actually. Right. And I did a pilot called Phil and Mickey, directed by the fabulous Hal Cooper. I was an American runner, and I fell in love with a Russian decathlon champion, and he defects to marry me. And it's kind of like Perfect Strangers, and he was like a fish out of water kind of story.
Sure.
But that was like 8 episodes. But then Russia invaded Afghanistan, and the Olympics, we boycotted the Olympics, so that went down the tubes. But
my dad has a similar story.
Really?
About he wrote his first novel was called The Russian Rose, and it was going to be about, or it was about, I mean, it was published about a Russian Olympian. But of course, we had no that year.
That year, yeah.
And his book just tanked because of actions totally outside of the control, right? You can make something fantastic and something, again, you have no control over it out there.
Exactly.
And suddenly you go, well, there's 8 episodes. Boy, that was fun.
I became sort of a utility player. Like I did the 9th episode of Cheers, where the bartender and the coach also, they both want to date me.
Okay.
So, and then I did Taxi. I played Louis' blind date. Got my sight back. It was great. I had so many wonderful experiences with being, like I say, a utility player. I did a lot of guest spots.
I'm in a way fascinated because these are the unsung heroes of the entire TV and movie business. Are the people who are constantly working, right, out there doing all these things, and the people that you might look at. If you looked back and you go, yep, there's Murphy, that you'd go back and you go, she's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't, not necessarily a household name.
Exactly.
Yet. Still time.
I mean, I was in the movie Annie. I was one of the Boylan sisters. You're never fully dressed without a smile. I mean, I've done so many different things, which is great. I kind of put everything in my basket. I pick up all these little skills. And every time something came up that I wasn't getting what I thought I wanted, I would just sort of turn my perspective a little bit and see if there was something else that was sort of in the same family, but not necessarily acting or
Right.
or dancing.
Well, and of course, dancing important too, because when you weren't acting, you could be choreographed.
I choreographed a big number for Roseanne. I choreographed the Gary Shandling show a couple of times. Then I started not getting the guest spots so much, so I created with friends a theater company, and I started directing, because I had been directed so much by really wonderful directors and sometimes not so wonderful directors, so you learn to self-direct in a way. And I'd been around theater for so long, so I started directing, and I loved it. I could have gone, I'm just going to turn in my card and give me the key to the home and I'll just go away, but I didn't. I just said, okay, what else can I do? It's been a struggle sometimes, but I realized that the more decisions that I make about things, the more things seem to go my way. In the morning, I get up and I say, today I'm going to look for things that make me feel good. That's what my dominant intention is, to make me look for things that make me feel good, and things that make me feel good show up. Yep. It's cool. Well, it's kind of quantum physics in a way. I mean, not that I know quantum physics, but supposedly what you give your attention to grows.
Yes.
In physics.
Right.
So I feel like you want to give your attention to things that you want,
right,
and that make you feel good. So.
Well, that's huge. I mean, really, it
is huge.
Talk about a secret.
But also, it took me a while to realize that a lot of times that feeling good is a good thing.
Yes.
Because sometimes there's like this thing about the tortured artist.
Sure. Sure.
And of course that's part of it, but it's not the biggest part of it.
No.
I don't think.
I mean, we've certainly come around to the idea that, yes, struggle is important, right? That it's crucial that you've pushed through those moments and that you don't stop, because that's the other thing.
My partner Paul Kreppel and I were producing some benefits over at Hamilton High School, because it was a performing arts school.
Yep.
And he said, let's get Jay Johnson to do it, because I said, we've got all these singers and so, and it was great. After the show, everybody kept saying, that ventriloquist, I never laughed like that since I've been 8 years old. I mean, he was.
For those people who don't know, Jay Johnson was the ventriloquist on the TV show Soap.
Yes.
And is perhaps the most talented ventriloquist working today.
He's a genius.
There are a couple.
Yeah, there's some wonderful.
People know Jeff Dunham.
Yes.
And Jeff Dunham has certainly had a lot of monetary success.
But Jay is beyond brilliant. He's magic, and he's a genius. Everybody was just all over him. And so we said, we'd like to create a show for you, So we went to his house with file cards, and he said, yeah, but I don't know, what's the show about? And I held up the file cards and I said, we have a show right here. So made an outline. He went off on a cruise and wrote the show, came back and workshopped it here in LA, and then invited a few people. And one of the people was from New York, and he said, we got Jay Sandrich gave us the money to go to New York and do a backers audition for 2 nights, and that's how it started. And we went to the Atlantic downtown and got fabulous reviews, and that's probably why we moved to Broadway. And the best thing was to see his parents in the audience seeing him on Broadway. To me, that was like the highlight of everything. But we would do talkbacks, and people would say, this man is a national treasure. He should be designated a national treasure. And it's true.
He should.
That's how amazing he is.
So you guys do the show, gets to Broadway. And how long was the Broadway run?
Not long enough.
Not long enough at all.
Yeah. It was tough because nobody knew how to sell the show.
Right.
And it was also a big season for big musicals, and so Jay kind of got lost in the shuffle, but the people that did see it would come back again and again and bring their friends and their kids. And I think it closed in the end of December, and in 2006 on Broadway, and then we got nominated in 2007 and won the Tony, and I got a new dress. It was great.
Well, that's fantastic.
No, Jay and Sandy were there, and I mean, just glowing, and it was great. And Eddie Izzard gave us our Tony.
What was the success like after having a Tony Award-winning show? Now you're starting to parlay shows in New York.
Yeah, I got offered a job to go on a cruise ship and fix a bunch of shows. So I did that. I mean, it was odd what showed up. Again, my checkered career. It's like
Again, swing player.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But that part, being a little bit of that jack of all, master of many, rather than master of none.
Thank
right?
you. I'm still working on that.
Well, but being able to step into something and go, I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. I've learned to do that, to get by.
And that's, I think, a lesson for us all, which is that you can construct a career without actually sticking to one thing and weave a patchwork, like you say.
Yeah.
Of things together to have formed your own successful existence through all these years. Yeah. I have a couple of questions that I ask everybody.
Okay.
Because one of the things that we're obsessed with on the show, and I say we meaning me, is how we look at what people are doing and we see them and think, oh, it must have been perfect. They must have gotten to where they are without any bumps in the road. And of course, we've been talking for 45 minutes about all the different bumps in the roads and left and right turns that you've made throughout your career. But what would you say the most unexpected detour your career has taken has been?
Probably having children.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, it was never on my list of things to do. And it's been the most satisfying thing in my life. And I sort of wove them into my career. Like I just directed my daughter Fiona's one-person show.
There you go.
Right before the pandemic, she did it at the Lyric Theater and got lots of good feedback.
Fantastic.
And perhaps a deal, with...
Well, see, you get to contribute and help her on her way.
She's brilliant. I mean, she's so much funnier and smarter than me. That's a wonderful thing. That's the way it should be.
But what an inspiration to have a mother who goes, we can do this.
Yeah.
Why not? Sure, let's go.
Well, years ago, we did a show called Big Tush, Little Tush at the Groundling Theater, and both of my daughters were in it, and it ran for over a year, and it was about a little girl who thought her tush was too small, and she learns to enjoy what she has. So
it goes back to the, what is it, chorus line song, Tits and Ass?
Tits
right?
and Ass, yeah, exactly.
So what would you say is the biggest fallacy in your industry that everybody buys into?
That everything should be a musical.
Okay.
And that it's easy to write a musical. I mean, if you want to write a musical, you should.
Sure.
But, man, not everything has to be a musical. That's just my opinion.
But that's what people seem to be believing, obviously.
Well, I think the biggest fallacy is that it's easy to write a musical because it's not. Right. It's like you got to write a bunch of them. I think it has to do, and what we were talking about before, I think it has to do with momentum. Mm-hmm. I think that you have to do things and get the momentum going in the way that that is going to result in something wonderful.
Yes.
You can't just go. It's like you said, you have to keep at it.
Yes.
You can't give up. You just got to. But not everything has to be a musical.
And what do you think the most underrated concept in the business is?
Again, what we were talking about, expectation.
Yeah.
I feel like that you have to polish up your expectations and really know what you're going for. And
so rather than managing them.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel like you have to just reach down inside and find what makes you feel the best and go for that, What an inspirational story. I love it. So if you want to know more about Murphy Cross, you can look her up at murphycross.biz or .com? .com.
Okay.
And also our our business website is wetrockentertainment.com.
wetrockentertainment.com.
Yeah.
So murphycross.com or wetrockentertainment.com.
Yeah.
Take a look at that, and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, Andrew, this was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you.